Go. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to In Conversation With, where I am chatting to Rachel Slyfield this week about life, business, struggles and successes in the network market industry. Hello, Rachel.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on. It's lovely to be here.
Oh, brilliant. Wonderful. Thank you for coming on. So would you like to introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, what you do?
Yeah. So I'm Rachel, and I have been running my TempleSpa business for almost 3 years now. So I started when my son was tiny. For many of the usual reasons, didn't go back to work after my maternity leave finished. It just didn't make sense. And to be honest, I didn't know if I really wanted to go back to work. I was looking for something different. And one of my friends had, I had the pamper party with my auntie at the time, who was my consultant. And I absolutely loved the products. I was using them all the time. She'd introduce me to something new, and then I'd love that, and then I'd buy that. And, she said to me, well, yeah. And she said to me, well, if you become a consultant, then you can get them for cheaper. And then it's a ready-made business if you want it, but it can just be whatever you want it to be. So I was like, okay. So I was one of those very few people who just sign up straight away. Okay. And then worry about it later. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
So that was, it was years ago in May. So, and I've got my little boy, Teddy, who is, he's 3.5.
Yeah.
And we live in Buxton in Derbyshire in the very pretty Peak District.
Oh, lovely. Very nice. So you started when your little boy was quite small then, didn't you, really?
Yeah, he was probably about 9 or 10 months old. So we'd just gone into lockdown. I think I did my first class, so it had to be online because we got into lockdown. So I think I joined about 2 weeks before the very first lockdown. So I was instantly just thrown into the online world. Yeah. So even now that I am doing like in-person stuff, I am still so much more comfortable on Zoom or like on doing online stuff than I am in-person stuff, even though I've been doing in-person stuff for at least a year now. Because that was just the world that I was thrown into. I just had to learn as I went along about Facebook pages, about all the different things and how you navigate it and what to put out there and content and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, in a way it was good because I had to do it. But yeah, I remember being so nervous about my very first in-person class because it was probably about 18 months, maybe 2 years after I joined. So it's quite a long length of time and I knew everything. I was using the products, but it was just something completely, it just felt like very different through a screen.
Yeah, and I think that's perfectly normal. I think even with people who start up as a party plan consultant from day one, who have a launch party, that nerves is still there. And I remember, 7 or 8 years in, those nerves still coming back every now and again when I went to somewhere new or somewhere where I didn't know many people. And yeah, it can be quite daunting, scary. But I think that means that you care about it and you care about the results and you care for the people that you're going to be seeing. So yeah, it's not a bad thing. So what took you from loving the products and signing up to to get them for cheaper to actually running it as a successful business?
So it took me, I was doing the parties. So I was doing like the pamper sessions and things like that. And I think because for me, like my upline was saying, just this isn't the right phrase, but just get your first few out the way. Just start doing them because if you've got a big gap between when you join and your first, like you've got time to think about it too much. You've got time to worry about all the things that are going on, what's in the background, is it all perfect, everything like that. So that's exactly what I did. So I made sure that I got all these things booked in. I was talking to my friends. And then I remember that I got to a point, so we were obviously in lockdown with baby on my own, so it was quite tough. And doing that as well as, launch business when there was so many other things going on in the world. And it just felt like, who am I to people about this when there's all these things going on and there are people in, a lot worse situations than me. So I remember that I kind of just plateaued a little bit, like I was just plodding along. I was still active in my sales. I was still doing the bits that I needed to do, but I wasn't moving forward.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where my son started nursery. So I had some more time. And I think that was around the time that I found you.
Probably. Yeah.
So somebody, So it was actually somebody in my, is it a cross line? In my uplines team, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, you were doing the, which challenge was it? I think it was grow your customer base. I think it was the grow your customer base. I can't remember which one it was, but anyway, it was one of your free 5-day challenges.
Yeah.
And she had put in our group chat, this looks fab, it's free. We're going to give it a go. So that's what I did. And I put everything. I really, really invested in this challenge because I could see the way that you were working and the difference that it was making to me. And then I could see how this would make a difference to my business as well. So at the end of the challenge, I signed up to be in the Success Lounge.
Yes, you did.
And then from then, I still do, but I just got involved with absolutely everything. All the different trainings that you do, all the workshops and masterclasses and things like that. And pretty much within about a couple of months, I was seeing that my sales were increasing, my productivity was increasing, and I was having all these shifts, and I was actually, growing my business. I was making these plans. I got these big goals that I'd not really had before because I was just kind of just going along with it. And once I realized what my why was, what my goal was, it was like something just switched in my brain. And then it was like, well, I've got to achieve this.
So what was that goal?
So my very first one. So my son has a few additional needs. One of those is a speech delay. And the NHS waiting lists are very, very long. I was told it was going to be at least a year more than that. Everything was still quite limited with lockdown only just lifting, things like that. So my very first goal was to achieve enough sales to take him for a private speech and language assessment. Now, that was a really, really big thing for me. And initially, it felt quite far away. It felt like a really big challenge. It was a sum of money. I was going to have to push myself more than I ever had before because I knew I needed how many sales I needed. And just thinking about that. So I remember every single time I made a sale, I would write it down in my planner. And I would work out then how much more I would need to get to that. And just thinking about that every single time, I would send somebody a message, follow up. I would ask somebody if they would write me a review. When I'm planning my social media, it was always right at the front of my mind. So even on days where I thought, you know what, I'm rubbish today, well, yeah, but I need to go and do this because this is important. This is really tuning into how it's going to change the dynamic of our home life, our family. So I achieved that.
You did. You smashed that.
So that was it was just, I still feel emotional talking about it now. It was just the most incredible feeling. Knowing that I had done that. So now my next goal related to that is to have a full assessment for him. And I am very, very close to reaching that, which is really exciting.
It is really exciting for both of you. I think it's phenomenal. And it just goes to show the power of a really, really strong vision. It really does. Because I think that when you have something that you want with all your heart, you are much, much more likely to put the work in and the action to achieve it. And it gives you that drive and determination, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't matter whether it's something as emotive as mine or whether it's like if you've got like a promotion going like in your company, if you're like working towards like a company holiday or a car or something, as long as it gives you that driver, then
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's so important. If you are drifting, if you're finding yourself drifting, look at why you're doing what you're doing. What is it that you want out of it? What is it you want to achieve? What impact do you want to make? What is that thing that you can find that gives you that reason to push yourself out of this drifting? And it makes a huge difference. And we saw that with you, didn't we? It was like something just changed in your whole attitude towards your business on the day, well, even the minute that you went, I've got it now, I've got my vision, I know exactly what I want to do. And your growth has been phenomenal since then, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Massive difference.
Yeah. And then obviously working with Gemma as well, Mrs. Mindset.
Yes, Gemma Holden, for those of you that don't know who she is.
Connecting with different people, and just getting out there and putting yourself out there, whether it's for your business or whether you're making friends, it's just getting yourself out there, being visible, just doing. I think last week I did about 4 or 5 different lives, several different things in several different groups. But it's just really, really good to kind of just get out there and get known for what you do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say is the thing that changed you, other than the vision of that goal that you wanted? What do you think it has been that has pivoted your business, that has made that shift from where you were just, plodding along, like you said, to this determination that you now have?
I would say, well, 2 things. The first thing is thinking of it as a business and not just something that I do when I've got an hour when my son's in bed. So that absolutely changed everything. And the other thing is working on my mindset. That did and continues to make a massive difference every single day. It's something that I incorporate into my daily routine. So it's what I do when I first wake up. It's what I do just before I go to sleep. And the difference is just incredible, to the point where I now shout about it so much. I tell everybody about it. It's just the most amazing thing ever. And I just find it fascinating how it works. So
yeah, definitely. 95% probably of success is all down to your mindset. It's that self-belief, that belief that you can do it, the belief that you can keep going when things don't quite go to plan, that knowing what you're working for, and that confidence that you can hit it, and you can get that however lacking in self-confidence you might be now. It will come when you work on it. Yeah, it's a fascinating thing with the mindset, isn't it?
Definitely.
So we've got a few minutes left, and I know that you wanted to talk a little bit about investing.
So, in case you have not seen, Anna and Gemma are launching the Next Level Mastermind, which I think, are we starting tomorrow?
We are starting tomorrow, officially next week, but we are introducing everybody into the mastermind world that has signed up and getting some plans in place. Yes, we are starting that tomorrow. Super excited.
So this is something that I saw Anna just you weren't full on advertising that, and it was just mentioning it in the Success Lounge. I think it was like October, November time last year.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, that sounds really, really good. My son is now in nursery full time, so I have got more hours to spend on my business. And just before that, so you've done another course with Gemma that was the secrets to success, and that was earlier last year.
Yes.
And I'd done like the free challenge before that then led to the paid course, and I really loved the free group. I would have loved to have joined, but at the time it just wasn't the right time for me. With other things that I got going on, and now I see, now that I have joined the mastermind, now I see that now is the right time for me. I'm now in a place where I have got more time. I have got, my mindset is in the right place. I've got all these things together. It almost feels like it's all kind of aligned in the right way. Whereas I know now that, I mean, I was absolutely gutted when I didn't do the secrets to success. But now I do realize that actually it wasn't the right time for me. That's okay. I'll do the next thing. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to work on my mindset. I'm going to get myself up to that level. So we had a chat, didn't we? And then I think about 5 minutes after our chat, I was like, okay, I'll sign up.
Yes, you were, I think, the first person to sign up.
Yeah. So I am so excited for this, because it really, really feels like I am taking my business up to the next level. And as a result, I am doing more in my business. I'm working with other small businesses to create something really exciting. So it's just, and I've got really big goals for this year, that I know I'm going to achieve them, and I know how I'm going to achieve them.
Exciting.
Breaking them down, and just so excited.
Are you happy to share one of those goals? Dare I ask?
So, well, the first one is the full assessment for Teddy, which I am on track to get to. Now the other one is to save up for a deposit for a house, which is a big thing. So I can envisage what it's going to look like and how it's going to be, where it's going to be. So obviously that is quite a big, substantial amount of money. So but I know that with the right training and the right support that I will get from the mastermind, I will absolutely achieve this.
So exciting. So very, very exciting stuff. So I suppose the lesson from this is to invest in yourself, whether it is doing the free challenges that people like me put on, getting involved in something that you know is going to build your business, whether it costs money or not. I think if you fully commit to these things and you invest in taking the time to put the stuff into action, then it does make a difference, doesn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter whether it's free, whether it's £20 or £200. If you don't put the work in, if you just sat there, you're watching the trainings, but you're not doing anything with it, then you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and even if it is free, that is still, you know, even if it is a free challenge, it's still, you're still investing your time. You know, so use it wisely.
Absolutely. And yeah, like I always say, do something, you know, anything, watch it, learn it, whatever, then put it into action and then do the next thing. Training itself will not change your business. It's the actual action. And you've done so much of that since I first met you on that challenge way back when. So lastly, before we disappear, I do ask everybody who comes on this to give me their top tip for all the other network marketers out there that are watching or listening. What's yours, Rachel?
So I've been thinking about this. I think my top tip is time blocking.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is something, is that not what you expected me to say?
No, I just think it's interesting. I think it's very interesting. Go on.
So this is something, so I am a big visual person. I'm a big pen and paper person. So I've got a physical planner, and I will just time block each hour throughout the day about what I am doing. And that means that I am so much more focused. So I know for this hour, I'm doing this. But then what I also started doing is I time block other areas of my life. So I schedule in family time. I schedule in time to clean, do the washing, whatever, all those things that need to get done. And what happens is that because I've got that time slot, I'm much more productive. I'm less likely to procrastinate. And as I'm in that kind of zone, because I know that this hour I'm working on this area of my business, I'm not looking sideways. I'm not looking at all the other things because I know they've got a slot later on in the day. So yes, I know the room needs hoovering, but that's for 4 o'clock this afternoon. Right now, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. Laser focus. I love that. I love that tip. That is a perfect tip for those people who get that overwhelm or that guilt that they're not doing everything. Get it all planned, get it all in your diary, and get that work-life balance, which you are getting really good at, which is just fantastic to see. Especially as, you know, single mum with a not quite a toddler anymore. It must be difficult to fit the time in.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I think it's really important for me to to prioritize family time as well. So you know, I don't work when he's around. You know, so yeah, it's just getting that balance. But I feel like I am getting there with the balance. So yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story and your words of wisdom. If anybody wants to connect with you, Rachel, where can they find you?
So my Facebook page is Rachel Slyfield TempleSpa. I'm on Instagram as well, which is the same, what's it called, name. And my group is confidence building, one TempleSpa product at a time, because that is what I focus on. So yeah, so thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you for being my guest today. It's been wonderful to speak to you.
Thank you.